So, school. We all know it. We spend like 12 years of our lives going to a building and learning things that are supposed to help us with our lives in the future. However, the more grades we go through, the more stuff we quote-unquote learn, and the less things we actually need to learn. And yet there are 12 grades, and so far, I only see the need for 7, maybe 8 of them. So, let's talk about that. So, what is our first topic today on the D.R.G? This is another generic rant show. Let me see. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
I wasn't taught how to get a job, but I can remember dissecting a frog.
Grades, the leading cause of anxiety. Grades and scores are just one of the worst parts of school for a multitude of reasons. However, here are just some of the reasons that I know of. The first thing is that they cause an unneeded amount of stress. You see, high grades, nice voice crack, high grades are good and low grades, well, they're bad. However, they are not good when high and bad when low because I particularly care about how high my grades are. High grades are good because if I don't get high grades, my parents will end up yelling at me for the millionth time and end it with taking away my video games or some other dumb punishment crap that they're just thinking that they think will make my life easier. However, in reality, all it does is make me more stressed out because all it does is makes me more stressed out because it just makes me want to try and do the things I like more rather than less, because when I'm stressed out, what I do is I play video games, so that relaxes me, that helps me out a lot, it makes me just happy. And so when you take that away, all it does is add unneeded amount of stress to the pile. So with that being said, what should I feel when going to school? Should I feel energized to learn new things? No. Instead, all I do is worry that anything I do will make my grades worse. Another thing that just sucks about grades is that they don't recognize talent. Like, for instance, let's say that you are a great artist, or that you like to play sports, or you are really good at acting. You want to pursue a job in one of those careers, but you end up not being able to go to college that you want to go to because the schools only base how much you're worth by looking at these stupid, worthless letters that mean literally nothing. The only thing these grades truly measure when it comes to your worth is how good you are at stupid crap like algebra, or it's something that's somewhat entertaining like science and turning fire green. And even then, not everyone likes to solve equations or, well, turn fire green. Want to be an actor or a football player? Lol, nope. If you can't solve this equation, then according to schools, you are talentless and worthless. No, I'm not saying math is not important. I mean, it's very important. I use it in my day-to-day life. I use it to, well, like, see how long my script is. I see, like, how much more I need to talk in order to make this video more entertaining. And by that, I mean get 10 minutes. I'm not trying to stretch things out, by the way. I don't try to do that on purpose. Just, like, anyways, side tangent aside. It's important, but that's not the only thing that matters, you know? Like, come on, like, the athletic abilities are important, like, your ability to act is important, like, everything is important. I'm just saying. However, as I was saying, I do believe that math is important. However, I do not believe that everyone should be taught things like quadratics and just garbage like that, because not everyone is good at math, especially me. Just like how not everyone is good at sports, acting, or video games. Introduce topics like quadratics and engineering is good. Introducing, like, anything is good because it brings people new things. However, you should let students decide what classes to take. Now, let's move on to our next problem in this category, tests. If I put tests on the same category as grades, and you're confused about that, let me tell you, it's because they serve a similar function. They are directly correlated, and that's the problem, you see. Tests are major things that determine what useless letter you get in the stupid book online thing, aka the grade book. And they also cause a similar amount of stress because if you get a useless letter that isn't good in the eyes of your parents or the school, you will be punished. So, how are you to pass these tests? Well, it's simple. Memorize a crap ton of information and regurgitate all the information onto the paper, then forget what you just learned so you can memorize for the next test, and basically have no social life or enjoyment in life at all, or cheat, and eventually get caught by school and get kicked out if you're in college, or get an F if you're in high school. And that's all school is, really. You memorize a bunch of useless facts and you follow it up by rigorous testing and reporting. Then repeat the process multiple times over. Not to mention quizzes. If you do not know, quizzes are basically tests, except these teachers that give you them don't tell you when you'll be taking these quizzes. So you end up failing the quiz because you were never given the time to memorize the useless facts that you were supposed to be taught. Anyways, let's move on to the next pile of trash.
I wasn't taught how to pay tax, but I know loads about Shakespeare's classics.
One main problem with teachers is that they say that they are here to teach our kids. However, anything a teacher can do, the internet can do better, with limitless amounts of videos and websites teaching us how to do whatever we want. Heck, now there's even calculators that can solve problems just by having you take a picture of the problem and it solves. Side tangent, quick side tangent. Remember, when teachers say, you won't have a calculator with you every day? Well, with this calculator that I have on my phone, yes, I really can do whatever I want. I can do whatever math equation I want, whenever, and I basically will have a calculator with me every day. And you may be asking, Jay, what do you mean you'll have a calculator with you every day? Just because you have a stupid app on your phone? Well, let me tell you, if you didn't just hear my emphasis on the word phone. Phones have calculators, and they are pretty good, and if they are not good enough, you can just download an app with a better calculator. And what is one thing that everyone has on them at all times? Yep, that's right. A phone. It's not hard to put 2 and 2 together and realize that, yes, we will indeed have a calculator with us every single day. When teachers say you should have gone before class when you asked for a drink or wish to go to the bathroom, which is freaking stupid. If I need to go before class, then I would have gone before class. But I didn't need to go before class. However, now I do. So let me go to the bathroom before I pee myself. Okay? Seriously. Why do teachers do that? Besides, we only get 5 minutes in between class to actually, go to the bathroom. Plus, we'll be stuck waiting in a long line of people who are waiting to take a piss or go into the stalls. It's probably vape or something stupid like that. Peter, you know who you are. Another problem is that teachers demand our undying respect, but yet they tell us to be adults or act like them, while still treating us like children. How are we supposed to act like adults if you're constantly treating us like children? That makes no sense. If you want us to treat you with respect, then treat us like adults and give us your respect. Then maybe we'll give you our respect. Because respect isn't something we just give to you. It's something you have to earn. And teachers get mad at us when we don't focus on it. When we don't... Great job, Jay. And teachers get mad at us when we don't focus on them. Okay, how about this? Become worthy of our attention, and we will focus on you. And don't say, Jay, they're supposed to teach you. It's not their job to be engaging. Because I beg to differ. Also, Why are you calling on people that don't have their hands up? It's obvious we don't know the answer, so don't freaking call on us. And since we don't know the answer, and you insist to call on me, I will most likely get the answer wrong and get embarrassed in front of a class of, I don't know, like 30 students. Wow, teachers, just wow. Thank you for giving our students even more stress and more embarrassment to deal with. And thank you again for lowering our reputation even more than we probably already have. Just freaking thank you so much.
I was never taught how to vote. They devoted that time to defining isotopes.
The biggest problem with school is that they try and teach you as much information as possible, yet some of the things that they teach us are not going to help most of us in our everyday life. It's not like we're just going to go pause our TV while watching the latest football game and calculate what quadratic equation would give us the nice little U-shaped arc that would be made when a football player throws the football. That's stupid. And yet despite that, teachers, they try to teach us as much information as possible. We still don't learn things that may be vital to save lives, like basic first aid, or recognizing mental issues such as depression. The closest thing we get to that was the Heimlich maneuver, but even then, not everyone who needs saving is someone who's choking on a hot dog or the school's terrible lunch. They may need a specific type of medication, or they may need some sort of treatment that no one was taught because the school system only values you if you can calculate using the quadratic formula, or just some stupid a squared plus b squared equals c squared crap. And by the end of the year, we forget practically everything we just learned by the time the next school year starts. So it ends up just being a big, large waste of time. Not to mention that you see if you're smart by making you memorize useless facts and give you a meaningless letter via rigorous testing and reporting. Not to mention that schools should help prepare us for the rest of our lives, or help us find our passion in life. Instead, we get taught useless facts like, you see this rock, it's different from this rock, because this one is igneous and this one's metamorphic, even though chances are most of you won't be a geologist, so that won't matter. Like, I don't care. In my everyday life, I'm not gonna take two rocks and say, okay, this one's igneous and this one's metamorphic. Heck, the only reason I remember that the igneous and metamorphic crap is because our teacher had failed to teach us the useless facts that we were supposed to learn, and we all failed the stupid rock test that he gave us. And the thing he was teaching was useless anyways, so most of us are never gonna use it. Like, that's so bad. If you're gonna teach us something, at least teach it correctly. The only thing I really think that will help me in life are things I learned in grades 1 through 7, maybe 8. Grade 8 had some things that mattered, but other things that were entirely useless, like igneous and metamorphic rocks. The whole goal of school is to teach you basic skills like reading and writing and like basic math like multiplying and subtracting. There are two problems. One, is it true, then why do we learn things like calculus and quadratics? Neither one of those are basic skills that will help most of us in life. And two, this system was designed by how it looks on paper. Which means that in a world where everyone is different in some way, while everyone learns differently, things are going to fall and fail from the beginning. And I'm not the only one who knows this. There are many people who have stated this before. If this many people can point out a glaring flaw in a basic system that's supposed to help everyone get better lives and pursue the advancement of humans, then don't you think it's time to change? No? Well, here, allow me to add just a bit more evidence onto this pile of garbage.
I wasn't taught how to look after my health, but mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell.
I know, I already talked about homework on my first video, but I believe there's more to be mentioned about this hot garbage we are given every day. This piece of trash is meant to help unlock your mind after school, but rather than teachers, teaching you new things, it makes you regurgitate the information you were supposed to be taught during class. So basically, it's a test that is easy to cheat on and wastes your time that you should spend doing whatever you want to do. You know, because at school, that's just, you know, I'll get into that later. You see, when it comes to my life, I have a nice little way that things work. During work, everything is about my job. I do my job the best I can and try and do everything as good as possible. And same goes for school. I do the best that I can in that just piece of trash called school. However, when I leave that building, that is my time that I should be spending doing things that I like to do. Instead, teachers think that you have nothing you do after school and they have no social life, so that you are like, so they just like, and they only believe that you exist to do schoolwork and other garbage like that. So what they do is that they give you stupid pieces of trash called homework. This homework wastes both my time and the teacher's time because they have to make sure I did everything correctly and whatnot. I read that really great, guys. And the worst part is that you get homework almost every single day. Plus, you have to do that on top of things like after-school activities and work. And some people just don't. Just like some people compare it, and some people just compare it to work as if they're the same thing. Homework and work are not the same thing. They're not. At work, you're given a task, and if you do not do that task, you get punished because you're getting paid to do that task. If you do your job correctly, you are given an award in the form of a paycheck. So you're incentivized to do well, and if you don't do well, I guess you're not gonna be earning money. However, for homework, you get yelled at if you don't do it, and yet you don't get a single award other than a meaningless number we mentioned earlier if you do it. Hold on. A task given to someone that leads to no award, yet if you don't do it, you get severely punished? Isn't there a word for that? Oh yeah, slavery!
Never spent a lesson on current events. Instead, I studied the old American West.
So, I don't have any interesting start to this one because this part of the video is just some random crap that I want to complain about, so let's complain about it. So the first thing I hate about school is the fact that you have to pay for lunch. The reason I hate this is because all it does is show that the school doesn't care about our learning. All they care about is to make that great green stuff, and, well, more specifically, all they care about is how many students they can get to graduate and how much money they can earn in that process, because, you know, everything just runs in that nice little green stuff. Because, you know, with more money and with more kids graduating, that makes the school look better, and just other hot garbage like that. And one of the things that showed that school is just super greedy and trying to steal as much money as possible is lunch. For one terrible lunch at my school, they just, and one of the things that showed this is lunch. For one, the lunch is terrible at most schools. You could find better food on the floor of McDonald's freezer, and yet they charge $3 for the basic lunch. Not to mention the fact that if you go far into the negative, you can't have lunch anymore. I'm like $10, like only $10. Let me see. Like, it's not even that far actually. Now I think about it. Let me see. Like $3. That means like it would take about 4 days in order, like just 4 days of like being in the negative in order to just not get any more lunch ever. Like, for instance, if you don't know what I mean, then let me tell you. Not to mention the fact that if you go far into negative, you can't have lunch anymore. Instead, you are given a whopping 2 slices of bread, some cheese, and some sort of fruit, like a banana or an apple. This bothers me because not every kid has good enough life where they can just have money in their lunch account at all times. But rather than give little Billy some food that he may not get at home, instead they give him some garbage meal that doesn't even contain protein. Where is Billy gonna get his protein, school? Huh? Where is Billy gonna get his protein? Another problem is the equipment. We are expected to buy expensive supplies like dozens of notebooks, crap tons of pencils, and graphing or scientific calculators, and many more, and we are expected to not lose any of it and make it last through an entire school year. That is way too expensive and way too hard to keep track of. Like, come on, what the heck? Like, come on, school, you run an entire school, you know how expensive things are. Like, frickin' A.
I was never taught what laws there are. I was never taught what laws there are.
So, what can I do to show off how bad school is? I know. On top of just pointing out how bad school is, I, a teenager, will try and fix the problems. I mean, they're probably not going to be that good, but it's going to be a heck of a lot better than what we currently have. I mean, am I right?
Let me repeat, I was not taught the laws for the country I live in, but I know how Henry VIII killed his women.
So, what would I do to change grades and tests for the better? First off, I would remove grades entirely. This is for two reasons. One, stress. Many people go through stressful emotions when they are going through a test, homework, and when looking at their grades. If you remove grading, it would improve students' stress levels a lot. And two, because schools should be about learning, not scores and grades and rigorous testing and reporting. However, this grading system that is in, not scores and grades. However, with this grading system that is in, students like me only focus on our grades rather than learning. Nice voice crack, Jay. Doing a great job. I think that rather than lowering grades, students should be taught what they should be learning until they learn it correctly. Allow students to go through class at their own pace, and if the students were to take a test and not do so well, then the student would just be given some help from a teacher or a study partner and retake the test within the next couple of days. And the thing is, I'm not the only one who thinks this way. A teacher nearly quit teaching because they were tired of how the school system worked and how grades affected their students, making the students stressed out and wasting the teachers' time while grading. This was an article called Abolishing Grading. If you want to see it, go in the description below or in the comment section. And for tests, well, I wouldn't change anything about them, because without grades, tests stop being stressful. They are just ways to see if a student is good without hurting them. The thing I would do now is remove tests and replace them entirely with pop quizzes. Since grades would be gone in the utopia, there would be no negative consequences for not telling your students about a surprise test the next day. In fact, it would make it easier to see if a student was truly learning or not. Anyways, let's move on.
Divorced, beheaded, died. Divorced, beheaded, survived. Glad that's in my head instead of financial advice.
For teachers, the only thing I can really change is the thing where they won't let you go to the bathroom and where they aren't engaging. The first problem being that you should have gone before class is a lot of bullcrap, and here's why. We don't have full control of our bladder, which is why we can't just sit down and just take a load of. We can't just sit down and just randomly go like, I'm gonna take a crap now, and just sit there for 20 minutes waiting for something to come out when nothing does, because we don't have control of our bladder. When we need to go, we need to go. So, I just want to basically, what I'm saying is simple. Let us go to the bathroom whenever. Okay? Make sure that we can we have to ask you first. Yes, we have to ask you first if we can. Or no, not ask, because we're gonna tell you first. We're gonna have to tell you that we're gonna go to the bathroom before we have to go home. I am terrible at phrasing what I'm saying. Before going to the bathroom, we tell you, hey, we're going to the bathroom, so you know where we are. Then we leave. Simple as that. Heck, a lot of teachers, like in middle school, have already been doing that. So high school teachers, get on it. You may be asking why I never talked about being engaging, even though I mentioned it earlier as things that can be fixed. The thing is, though, is that the sentence is self-explanatory. Just be more engaging, you know, like actually be engaging, like do things that are engaging in your class. Like, come on. The other thing that I didn't mention, like teachers treating us like how teachers need to treat us like adults, and like just not expect our respect if they don't give us their respect, are things that I can't fix. The teacher themselves have to choose to give us their respect, and well, at least if they want ours. But anyways, let's move on.
I was shown the wavelengths of different hues of light, but I was never taught my human rights.
The main problem with the system entirely is that they're teaching us things that we won't use in our actual day-to-day life. For instance, my sister graduated from high school 2 years ago and she was never taught how to pay her taxes, or what her human rights are, which are two important things that everyone should probably know. So, what schools should do is make things like quadratics or something like that an optional class, or rather, as we call it in high school, algebra 1A and 1B. A little bit subtle there, hiding the fact that it actually should be called hot garbage and hard as crap, if you ask me, anyways. Things like that should be optional. Not everyone's gonna use quadratics and like crap in life, to be honest. Instead, we should be taught things like how taxes work, or where money comes from and how that works. Like, we should be taught how to do our taxes. We should be told how to parent children, and because if parents are the problem, then then teach the kids how to parent, and then that's the problem solved, as said by Boy in a Band. Just things like that, just things like teaching kids how to do taxes and what their human rights are would be great. And no, I'm not saying remove things like quadratic. They should be introduced in some degree, but they are not applicable. If they're not applicable to most people's lives, then they should be optional, in my humble opinion, or not so humble opinion.
Apparently there's 30. Do you know them? I don't. Why the hell can't we both recite them by rote?
To fix homework, all I have to do is replace it. No, seriously, there are many articles talking about why to get rid of homework and what they can be replaced by, rather than just rather than just copying and pasting all that information onto this script I have right here. This nice came from a tree script right here. I'm just gonna leave a link in the description and in the comment section if you want to learn more about what to replace homework with. So yeah, just go there and read and actually read outside of school for once. Because if you're like me, you never read outside of school. Am I right, or am I right?
I know igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary rocks, yet I don't know squat about trading stock.
So, there was really only one thing to talk about that wasn't related to other topics, which was the school lunches. I don't really need them to say much. All I have to say is that schools should either A, make lunches free, or B, make the free lunches that they give better and have nutrients in them. Just come on, like kids need nutrients. Come on, because not every kid has the money to get a nice little hamburger, or in most cases, fake meat. Freaking vegans ruining school lunches. Anyways, kids that don't have a lot of money probably won't be able to get like food every single day, because their parents may not have enough money to afford that. So just make free lunches better, or just make lunches free in general. Okay? Okay, let's go.
So how money works at all? Where does it come from? How does the thing that motivates the world function?
To end this video, I'm going to do two things. First, I would like to mention that the ideas above may not be great, but they're a heck of a lot better than what we currently have. And second, I will leave an excerpt from the song Don't Stay in School by Boy in a Band. If you can't explain why a subject is applicable to most people's lives, the subject should not be mandatory. Introduce those topics, yes. But we should choose if we want to learn more. Nobody should be forced to learn something that isn't practically useful. Couldn't have said it better myself. So, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a bit more of a serious video, talking about an actual problem in society, but whatever, glad I could get my 2 cents on the subject. My throat kind of hurts now that I'm done recording this, because, you know, all this speaking, being kind of loud, kind of hurts my voice a little, but that's fine. I'm not actually sick anymore, so now my voice isn't so, like, yeah, you won't have to hear that anymore, so yeah. Anyways, though, let's get this out of the way. The last video's question was, what was your worst experience with fandoms? With only one answer, that being super good at life's answer, and he said, my friend makes Sonic OCs. And I said to him, don't do that. Great answer, thank you, and I'm glad that somebody that wasn't named T3 Films actually answered my question, so thank you. So hopefully we'll get another answer today. So, today's question is, well, simple, as of all my questions. What was your least favorite part of school? Let me know in the comment section below, and I will feature them in the next video. Goodbye.